Sue, Charles, so what first made you think about getting your Italian citizenship?
Well, the very first time we set foot in Sicily, we felt like we were home. We felt like we were walking the same streets our grandparents walked in, and we wanted to be there, and we wanted to stay. I didn't want to go home. It was actually the very first place I've ever been to that I didn't want to go home.
How important was it that you did your citizenship in Italy?
I guess honestly it was, part of it was the thought process of how long it would take, and we were anxious. But the other part of that was we wanted to be involved somewhat, and we felt it was just something that was sort of like you go into an office and you say you put some papers, you leave, and you wait for someone to come back, as opposed to being there and meeting the people that you're doing. So part of it was to get ourselves involved in it, because we have a connection there, and we really wanted to be a part of the whole process.
And I think once we made the decision to do it, we wanted to do it. We didn't want to wait for 5 years for the consulate to have an appointment and 2 years for them to recognize us. We had heard that it was a simpler process in Italy and a quicker process in Italy, and we became very anxious to get it done.
Sue, so you made your citizenship in your grandparents' hometown. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I was surprised how emotional I got. The very first time I walked into my grandparents' town and walked on the same streets that I knew they had played on when they were little kids, and knew that they really wanted to go back to. I mean, they came to America in the late 1800s, and I think they always wanted to return to their country, never had the opportunity to go back where their parents were, whatever. And I felt like I was fulfilling a dream. Becoming a citizen, being in the municipality where we actually became a citizen was a block away from where my grandparents were born. So it was really, I think I would be as emotional as I was. But when we met the mayor and he welcomed us to his town, I really started to cry, because he asked me too, like, why here? And I said, because I belong here. You know, I felt like it was my home.
Do you think that you could have done this process on your own?
There's absolutely no way possible that anybody should ever consider doing this on their own, unless they're actually from, I don't see why you'd be doing it because you're already there, you live there. You have to be someone who's local, who understands the culture. By understanding the culture is being there, understand the rules, and have the right personality, and be the person to help you whenever you get into trouble. Because invariably, in Sicily, you know, or wherever you are in Italy, you're going to have something that comes up, and you need somebody who knows how to deal with that. And there's nobody from the United States that's going to be able to deal with that at all. So without Chris and Francesco,
on both
totally
ends,
impossible.
on the United States end, where you're waiting in lines and you're negotiating craziness and apostles and whatever, if it wasn't for Chris, I don't think it ever would have gotten to completion, because you can get frustrated very, very quickly with that whole process. And Chris just made it easy. It was simple. It was a call, and the next day you were looking in your mail and you got what you needed, and it was like, oh, I didn't really have to sweat too much over that one. And the process, once we got to Italy with Francesco on the other end, negotiating all the little ins and outs and things that could pop up, you know, out of nowhere, that there was no way that
they do pop up.
No way we would be able to do on our own. I can't stress enough how much they made this process possible.
Do you feel that Francesco and I went beyond a typical client engagement?
In so many ways. In so many ways, I feel like I found family. Chris held my hand through the whole process on this side, dragged me through Brooklyn when we needed to get documentation. We had to, over and above what anyone would have to do. I wouldn't, personally, I still think I wouldn't have been able to do it without him. Francesco on the other end was just 100%. I feel like I belong. We're kissing and hugging and exchanging cookies and whatever. This was a family. This wasn't a business. these guys knocked themselves out to make it work for us and make us feel like they were going to do whatever it took.
This wasn't just a business, this was a personal connection. The true understanding that this was something that, in addition to doing this, there was a joy in doing it. There was an excitement on both ends, not just for us. We saw that excitement, and Francesco, we realized it from Chris the same way, exactly, because when they realized that it actually happened, it wasn't, oh wow, we got this done, we made some. This was an absolute joy for us that we recognized that they felt for us. So there's a personal connection.
And they were able to share it with us.
This wasn't going
make
to
it
some place
happen.
and saying, I'm going to pay you for a service and do this and do that. This was an absolute personal connection.
Now that you're both recognized as citizens, what are your plans?
Well, it depends what day it is, because there are certain days when I'm saying, let's just go buy something.
He keeps
and
on
go.
saying he's ready to leave tomorrow and live there forever.
We have one problem, we have grandchildren, so
Um,
we miss the grandchildren, so, but we're trying to work that out, so.
we will definitely, the joy of citizenship is that we will now be able to spend longer periods of time there, which is a great thing. I think we'll look for some place to.
We're gonna battle back and forth about whether we're
We've
gonna
said
rent
many
something or
times
buy
that-
something, that's what it's gonna be.
That for us, Sicily is going to be our Florida. You know, people go to Florida in the winter, and I don't understand it personally, because Sicily is just like the most beautiful place in the world, and it has good food. And so I think we would probably go and stay there for long periods of time.
Just
It's an easy lifestyle.
people wanna
it's,
retire, or
yeah.
just be someplace where you get your food fresh every day, and the food you eat, and it's something that people would feel very comfortable with. I think that's very difficult to find when people are looking. I have friends who are saying, I can't find it where I'm looking to retire. I have a friend who's got a lot of money, and she's been looking all over the United States to try to find a place. She visited this place, she visited that place. It's maybe not going to be living in a high end, but if that's what you're not looking for, and you want to live in comfortable and fantastic food and great weather and very nice people, and it's just a wonderful atmosphere to live in every day. And there's
For a
nothing-
retiree, not only is it beautiful and an easier lifestyle, it's a less expensive lifestyle.
Sure.
I think we could easily live on Social Security checks and have leftover.
Yeah.
Live in a beautiful apartment, shop for fresh food every day.
So within the same year, you got your documents, you went to Sicily in the summer, and you were citizens by the end of the summer, the beginning of the fall, and you got to enjoy your trip over there. I mean, could there be anything better than that?
This was perfection, from start to finish. I don't even remember where or how I found you, Chris, but I should remember where and how I found you so I could tell everyone else, because that started the whole process being painless. I remember the very first thing I said is, Jesus, this made it totally easy. There's no lines, there's no hassle, there's no whatever. We weren't negotiating all the little things that happened. That was completely taken from us. All the stress, all the, the nonsense that could go on was taken away from us, and we were able to go travel around and have a good time and just wait while actually Chris and Francesco handled all the problems and all the issues that popped up in between. It was an invaluable service.